Anyway, a whole lot of things are being done in the, all imported from United States largely, about past life regressions and this and that. These are just psychological processes. With psychological process, if you go to a certain level, essentially you're going into analyzing yourself. With this analysis, you could come to some conclusion, some imagery, whatever. Through psychological processes, you can never, ever break through the barrier of memory which separates you from one life to another. Sometimes for spiritual reasons, to enhance certain dimensions, we do break through those things, but that is not at all needed for most people because their lives will get totally disturbed by this. I'm just saying, for example, it so happened
I was told that my topic or what we talk about is mission life today. And when I think of life, the first thing that comes to my mind is that life begins right in the womb of the mother, right? And each one of us takes birth in different kind of families, some poor, some very rich families. And they say that it's your past life that determines that. So what is that? What is your view on past life? And is it possible for every person to kind of get to know what their past was?
No. Now, it is true that if you… those who have more than one child, would know this if they paid attention. But otherwise, you can go to a hospital, watch 10 children who are just born. You will see these 10 children are not same, they're just born, but they're not same. Each one of them have their own characteristic. Even if two children have come of the same parents, you have a sibling?
Yes, I have a younger
Nothing
brother.
like you.
No, we are poles apart.
So, though same genetics, same home, same food, probably same school many times, but so different. So obviously, from this we can assume there is some other data. Though genetic data is same, atmosphere is same, everything else, all the inputs are same, but there is some other data which is making you so different from your sibling, which is in every home, it is true. Very rare that two siblings are of similar nature. So obviously there is some other information which is making one person so different from the other. See, what makes you very different from another person is essentially what you remember, isn't it? Suppose I wiped out your memory and I wiped out another person's memory totally, both of them would act about similar. Only because you have a memory, it is so different. Now when we say memory, what you know as conscious memory is only a very small part of the memory. Do you remember how your great-great-great-great-great-grandmother looked like? No. Her nose is sitting on your face though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your body remembers. This body remembers so much that you cannot even imagine, that much it remembers. So you can say this is just genetic. It is not just genetic. There are 8 forms of memory. These 8 forms of memory, in the yogic way of looking at things, we say this is elemental memory, atomic memory, karmic memory, genetic memory, and articulate memory, inarticulate memory, and conscious and unconscious levels of memory. So 8 forms of memory. You are normally conscious of only an extremely small part of your memory. How your forefathers were 1,000,000 years ago, still even your skin remembers what should be the tone, isn't it? Nothing forgotten. So there is a tremendous amount of memory here. So what you're calling as karma, what you're calling as past life, there is memory. Past life is memory, isn't it? Right now what happened yesterday is only in your memory, it's not hanging anywhere here. So, does life go beyond the birth of this body? Definitely it does, but I don't want you to believe such things. Because the moment you believe such things, you start imagining things. This is gone crazy, particularly in United States. Anybody who says, if they like this person, oh, maybe our past life. 3 days of romance and then they realize there's no future.
Right.
So, if you start believing these things, your imagination will fly, it's no good. But if you access these dimensions, then it transforms you in a completely different way. Is it necessary for every human being to access these memories? Not necessary, because most people cannot handle the memory of this life, they're freaking. Yes?
True that.
10, 20 years of memory, they cannot handle it. If you remind them of 10 lifetimes of memory, what will happen to them? They better not remember. Anyway, a whole lot of things are being done in the, all imported from United States largely, about past life regressions and this and that. These are just psychological processes. With psychological process, if you go to a certain level, essentially you're going into analyzing yourself. With this analysis, you could come to some conclusion, some imagery, whatever. Through psychological processes, you can never, ever break through the barrier. Of memory which separates you from one life to another. Something deeper than your psychological structure has to be activated for you to know that. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. But what is the purpose?
Now there are some people on purpose now, it's said, I don't know how much or to what extent it's right, that certain people have patterns in their life, of say failure on work front, or be it relationships, or just they're lucky with certain things, unlucky, and then they're directed towards a direction that maybe, you've got some thing from your past life hanging on, and that's why they go into regression to kind of clear out those layers and auras is what I've heard. So how much is that true?
See, essentially what you're saying is certain things going wrong in this life means you're in some way incapable of handling this life. Now I will hand you one more lifetime to you, will you handle it properly? No, that's definitely not the reason why you go there. Sometimes for spiritual reasons, to enhance certain dimensions, we do break through those things, but that is not at all needed for most people because their lives will get totally disturbed by this. I'm just saying, for example, it so happened, let's say you're walking on the street and I'm just making this frivolous, okay? You're walking on the street and you saw a street dog and you remembered, oh, this was my brother in my past life. And you ran after the street dog, but the dog doesn't remember. You know what'll happen. So you should not believe these things. But does it exist? Definitely it exists. So the attitude that you must take is, you do not believe these things, but you do not disbelieve these things.
You don't mind.
You clearly understand life is much more than what you think. So there could be any number of possibilities. If you want to explore, if you're interested, I can give you a method how to explore. But just believing something, because somebody says in your past life you were this, you were that, this will only destroy the present life, because you will go from reality to hallucination.
But as long as it's just to get an idea, just for fun, inquisitiveness sake, then it's fine.
No, it can get you into serious trouble.
Right. But then you do agree that there are soul connections, like the souls remain the same around. I mean, that's what I've heard, that people say that your family or your near and dear ones…
Which one are you talking about, the right one or the left one?
The souls?
Yeah.
Well, both. They were together in the past life. So I'm talking about both together.
So you already found your soulmate, huh?
Right. I think only in my slippers I found my soulmate. So does that happen? Like they say that your friends or your families or, from your past lives to now, they remain the same, or the souls around you are the same, or maybe in form of your friends.
I would advise people to make new and numerous and new friendships now. Even for lifetimes, if you can't make new friends and the same idiots are going with you every lifetime,
That's really sad.
you must be in a terrible condition.
Yeah.
I know you come from a profession where people used to sing Janam Janam all the time, but not anymore.
No, we just make them believe on screen, trust me.
Not anymore, right?
No, only on screen we
Only
still
in
make them believe.
70s Janam Janam happened, not anymore.
Even now we dance around the trees and make them believe that exists, but the reality is quite different.